Welcome to episode 207 of the Prosperity Practice, the podcast that has you living your most abundant and prosperous life. This is Danielle Amos, and I am your host. Today, I want to talk about self-image, identity, one of my favorite subjects. As you know, for those of you that know me well, it was my own. And we just got a little confirmation ding from my phone. It was my own self-image transformation that really did change my life. I had no idea that I could actually write her and become her. I didn't know that it could be so simple to give myself a raise, give myself a really like a confidence boost by just deciding who I really am. And the truth is, I didn't decide who I was. I remembered. And as I let go of who I wasn't, more of the truth was allowed or permitted or really just came to the surface. And the same is true for you. However, I'm a very practical and used to be very logical thinker. And so it helped me to create a process in order to upgrade my identity, because I would read out all these books, not necessarily about identity or self-image shifts, and I read a lot and not a whole lot changed, which meant that I wasn't applying the work because I didn't really understand how. They were like nice ideas. I'd hear like I could be doing have anything and go, okay, great. Now what? Because I'm still, getting the same results in my life as I always had. And so back in 2015, when I first met Bob Proctor, one of the things that I really appreciated about Bob was how simple he put these philosophies into words so that it was easy for me to understand and easy for me to apply it to my life. And not everyone applies it that hears it. And so I started to understand that, as well as I would share this information with my team. At the time, I was in network marketing, and my results shifted so quickly. I tripled my income within 6 months. Within 3 weeks in the program, I got a call to be a speaker for the company I was with, out of the blue. And I started attracting business partners out of nowhere. They were just joining my team, and really high profile women, amazing women. And it seemed like magic. And magic, quite honestly, is just the word that we give something when we don't understand why or how it's happening. Magic isn't magic to the magician, right? Because they know the trick. So it wasn't magic. It was that I was operating in a certain way. I had shifted my mindset, specifically the way that I thought about me. And so my results shifted. And once I started speaking about this to my team and others, and then, became a coach that December and January 2016, I guess it was February 2016, I kicked off my business really. And I started noticing the same thing was happening, that people would read or study these ideas like, you are an extension of source energy. You can be, do, and have anything you want. If you think you can, you will. And all of it is really good information, but it makes no difference if you're not able to embody this information, if you're not able to actually believe it. And so I was called to really come up with a process or for the application of it, and to come up with ways in which a person can test out these ideas and then see the results in their life. And then once they experience a change in their results and the change in the way they feel, then there's no question, quote unquote, whether this works or not, because they have the proof in their life. So I didn't know really this is what I was doing. And now looking back in hindsight, I can see that I became very good at explaining this material in such a way that you can apply it to your life, that these philosophies and these ideas that can seem a little woo-woo or seem a little out there or spiritual or big ideas, I'm actually able to ground them for a person and give you tangible, real, applicable processes that you can execute and do in order to be, if that makes sense. So by the doing and the contemplating and the journaling and like taking the actions on the rituals that I recommend, what I noticed is that that changes the way a person shows up. It changes their consciousness. It changes their understanding. It changes their knowledge. It changes their beingness. And that's the name of the game. Their awareness increases not because you read a book. Your awareness increases not because you read a book, but because you actually have an applicable experience. You have an experiential learning that changes your life forever. And you then know that this material is truth and it works because it's worked for you in your own life. And this, my friends, is what makes the work that I do to toot my own horn. This is what makes the work that I do different and unique, and why we've had dozens of millionaires graduate from our community because of the application piece. Now, you all know that I'm obsessed with self-image. So I wrote something about self-image, and this is in relation to the self-image boot camp that we just launched. So we're kicking it off on Valentine's Day. It's 33 days to fall head over heels in love with yourself and your bank account. And I was really thinking about self-image and defining it. And so I wrote this. And the idea here is I'm going to take you for only $1 a day through 33 days of rituals, of prompts and contemplations, of action steps, so that you can apply and literally upgrade or up level your self-image and fall head over heels in love with yourself and design a life you love as a result. So why is self-image so important? Well, your self-image includes both your inner image and the way that you view yourself as it relates to all areas of your life, and therefore projects on how you present yourself on the outside, the way you dress, talk, walk, etc. Your inner self-image not only includes how you perceive yourself, but also how you think others perceive you. Your identity, on the other hand, is made up of several identities or labels that you have for yourself. And inside each identity, you have a specific self-image. So for example, you have an identity as a mom, as a wife, and a CEO. And then inside that, so my identity as a mom, I have an inner self-image, which is the way that I view myself in this role. And it projects out in the way that I present myself to the outside world. So your self-image is part of your paradigm. And the paradigm, as you know, is a multitude of habits in your subconscious mind. Now, if you want to learn more about paradigms, you can go back to one of the previous podcasts where I riff on paradigms, okay? Because it's fascinating where your paradigm came from. You were programmed, your paradigm's your mental programming, and you were programmed when you were a child. And your self-image, the way you view yourself, is part of that limiting paradigm, and it's in your subconscious mind. So the way you perceive yourself is part of the habitual way that you operate in the world. Your self-image literally sets the boundaries that you'll experience in your life. That is, the way you perceive yourself creates a boundary of achievement, meaning you will never outperform your self-image. So I want you to hear that. The way that you are viewing yourself, perceiving yourself in your own mind puts you in a box, and you can't outperform it. So whatever that subconscious mind, whatever you have locked up in your subconscious mind about yourself is dictating your experiencing, what you experience in life. This blew my mind. So you'll never outgrow it until you change the self-image. So your self-image is extremely important as it dictates what you will or will not achieve or experience in all aspects of your life. As you raise your awareness of who you are, your self-image benefits, and you'll naturally experience more abundance in your life, and your bank account grows. Okay, so this is really important for you to shift your self-image. Now, I've often said is that the ultimate self-image is you understanding that you are an extension of source energy. And it's not always easy to accept that idea right from the start. And so what I like to do is I like to ground this idea and instead talk to you about your next, like your vision for your life. What is your goal or something that you would like to achieve, have in the next 6 to 9 to 12 months? And let's create a self-image or an identity that's a match for that next phase of your life. And as you do this, you can literally step into her. You can write her and become her. You can step into or calibrate to that next level on all three planes in which you exist, your thoughts, your feelings, and your actions. And so as you do this and you start to think differently, feel differently, and act differently now as it aligns to your future self, what happens is that your future self actually is calling you forward. And as you move towards her, she moves towards you, and you start attracting new things into your life, new opportunities that are in harmony or in resonance with that identity, because that new identity exists on a frequency. And so do the things that you want to achieve in the next 6-12 months. And so this is such an important piece. And it's so practical and so beneficial for you, because you will not only grow in the process, which is why your inner being is here, you'll become more aware of the truths and truth of who you are, and your bank account benefits. And so do all those people around you, because you are showing up as the next level version of you. And this is huge. So if this is resonating, I'd like to invite you two things. One is the self-image boot camp that we're kicking off for just $1 a day. That's happening on Valentine's Day. The second is I've partnered with one of the most incredible women who's in her divine feminine energy. Her name's Kristen Stewart. And I'm partnering with women. You're going to see quite a bit coming up. And I'm partnering with Kristen on Friday for a divine wealth activation. It's a pop-up class. Her and I are partnering on our upcoming retreat as well in Mexico. And this is a pop-up class, knowing that I have the boot camp and identity, and we'll be doing identity work in Mexico. I wanted to bring Kristen's knowledge of spirituality and these like bigger ideas, these truths of who you are, and bring them to you, and then use my methods to help you ground the ideas that she brings forth to create this like quantum leap for you. So I'd also like to invite you to that. It's happening in the free Facebook group, Mastering Your Mindset for Success, Master Your Mindset with Danielle, which we'll put the link here in the chat. There's no need to register for that. However, there is a need for you to register for the boot camp. And then I'd also like to invite you to Encoded Conversations, another partnership that I have. This is a monthly membership where you'll put yourself in the room with Haley Bowler Cook and I as we have very real high level conversations between the two of us, that you're being invited to be a fly on the wall. And that right there allows you to up level by just joining those conversations. So all these links are in the bio. I would love to hear from you. What is this next level that you're calibrating to? What is it that's a non-negotiable that you'd like to achieve, be, do, or have in 2024? And have you considered the difference between who you are now and how you're showing up and who you need to become in order to attract that level of success to you? This is often a missing. People go right into strategy or what they need to do. It's not what you do, it's who you're being in the process. And I invite you to take a real look at this. Self-image matters. It determines the boundaries of your experience, and you'll never outperform it. So if this resonates, I'd love to hear from you. Give us a 5-star review, of course, and send me a message on Instagram at the Danielle Amos. I'm so grateful that you're here, that I have the opportunity to riff with you. Thank you for being here, and expect abundance.